Maplestory M is a mobile game, and a big theme that mobile games have is having a gacha. For those of you guys who are new into mobile games or don't know what a gacha is, essentially that's something that you can end up buying with premium currency or cash shop currency to gamble on, and this is either going to be cosmetic items or it's going to give you something in the game. And in Maplestory right now, we do indeed have a gacha that is already available. Those of you guys who are also new to mobile games, definitely get used to that term because you're going to end up hearing it quite a bit in the future. So the gacha that we have available right now, if you go to the cash shop and you go to the treasure box icon, you can see right here the rare treasure box. Now, I've already actually had a couple of people send me messages asking for a video talking about my opinion on treasure boxes, whether you should pull, and just generally giving a little bit of information about treasure boxes in general. So I thought I would go ahead and do that. So if you're on the fence or want to just know a little bit more information and educate yourself a little bit about treasure boxes and the first gacha in Maplestory M, this is going to be the video for you. So let's go ahead and get into the details. Now, the first thing to note is the rare treasure boxes are indeed going to cost crystals. Crystals are a premium currency, so this is going to be a paid feature. Those of you guys who are completely free to play, unfortunately, I don't believe there are any options to actually earn crystals in Maplestory M right now for free. Who knows if that's ever going to change in the future, but right now this is going to be something that you are going to have to spend money on. Now, with that being said, I also want to say something very, very important at the start is just because you have to actually spend money on the gacha and pulling on these rare treasure boxes does not mean that you have to spend money in order to benefit from these treasure boxes. You can actually end up buying everything that these treasure boxes are going to end up having from the trade station. So yes, of course, you can end up spending real money and you can pull on these boxes by using crystals, but you could play the game normally, farm up those mesos, save up, and you can actually end up buying all the equipment just on the trade station. Now, of course, depending on what kind of equipment you're looking for, it might end up being pretty expensive, and I'm going to go ahead and get into the details of essentially what you're going to end up getting from those treasure boxes, how much the equipment is going to end up being worth, and you can kind of just do a little bit of a breakdown and see how much real money, how many crystals you're going to end up spending, and essentially how many mesos and how much gear you're going to end up getting out of it. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, first of all, also, I would absolutely never recommend doing the single pulls, especially because not only do you get one additional pull by doing a multi-pull, another common term that you're probably going to end up hearing a lot when it comes to mobile games and gacha games, but you're going to get a guaranteed unique if you do the multi-pull. So you get a bonus of an additional item, and you also get a guaranteed unique. On top of that, if you actually go ahead and go to the top right of the screen, you can take a look at the probability info of the different equipment that you are going to get from this treasure box. You can see that getting a piece of unique equipment is actually pretty rare, so having that guaranteed unique equipment in every single pull is absolutely huge. I mean, the difference between doing single pulls and multi-pulls in Maplestory M is absolutely astronomical. Normally in a lot of other gacha games, it's just kind of like a little bit of a bonus, but it really seems to be pretty much a must-have. So because the chance of getting a unique is only 0.66, or what is that going to be? If you do a multi-pull of 10 pulls plus 1, it's going to be around 6 to 7%. You're going to have to spend an average of 13,000 or so crystals in order to normally end up getting a unique if you were to just do single pulls. So absolutely, if you ever do the gacha, save up those crystals for a multi-pull. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that probability info a little bit more, because this is going to be really important as you can kind of get a general sense of how valuable the gear is that you're going to end up getting from pulling from treasure boxes. So you can see the chance of getting a rare or an epic is pretty much everything except for a very, very small fraction. The chance of getting a rare is approximately 1 in 3. Chance of getting an epic is about 2 in 3. Of course, that's shy, just a little bit less than a 1% chance, which is going to be your chance to get a unique, or if you're extremely lucky, a legendary, which is the lowest chance at 0.22, which means that you're going to have to do an average of, what is that, about a little less than 500 single pulls, or that would be about 45-ish to 50 multi-pulls. So you're looking at about 50,000 crystals on average if you are looking to try to get a legendary. Now, the actual value of crystals, it can be a little bit difficult to tell. If you take a look at the crystal packages, of course, you end up getting a bonus looks like you get 6,300 crystals for $90, but then you also have these coupons that are available as well. So the exact price of crystals is a little bit, I guess there's no one particular price, but 1,000 crystals is safe to say it's gonna be over $10, so that's about $500 on average to get a legendary if you just do the quick math behind it, so you've got to be pretty lucky. Now when it comes to actually breaking down the actual value of what you end up getting from these pulls, most of what you're going to end up getting are rares and epics. Now keep in mind that in a pull of 10 plus 1 or 11, you are guaranteed to get that unique item, and the majority of the value in your pull is going to be that unique item. If you actually end up going to the trade station, you can see that unique items are indeed still pretty expensive, and they're always going to be relatively expensive just because of the cost that it actually ends up taking to fuse a unique. So you could see that uniques are pretty pricey. In fact, I generally go through the trade station a pretty decent amount of the time to take a look at the price of uniques, and it's pretty rare to see unique selling for less than 4.5 million or so. This one right here for 5 million, that's pretty cheap. So obviously I'll do more searching afterwards, because if I can ever find a good deal on uniques, I'm always looking for that. But that is going to be a guarantee every single pull. So that alone is a lot of mesos for 1,000 crystals. On top of that, you're going to get 10 other items, but again, the majority of those are just going to be rares and epics. If you go through and take a look at the price of epic items right now, they're getting cheaper and cheaper as the game is kind of evolving a little bit. We're still very early on, but they're still relatively cheap. I would say the average price of an epic item right now seems to be hovering at around 100,000 each. Rares seem to be at around 15,000, maybe 20,000 or so. So if you add up everything except for legendaries and the extremely rare chance of getting something insane, just on average in a pretty normal pull, you're going to end up getting that guaranteed unique 6 epics or so, and approximately 3 to 4 rares, in that general ballpark, of course. So you're looking at maybe 1 million mesos from the rares and the epics, and then, of course, 4, 5, 6 million mesos from that guaranteed unique. So that's pretty decent. You're looking at 5, 6 million mesos, again, in that general ballpark. It might be plus or minus a little bit, but around 5 million mesos every single time that you do a multi-pull. Obviously, you have to list all that stuff on the trade station if that's what you're looking to do with it, but that's not too bad. For 1,000 crystals, 5 million mesos, that definitely makes that meso package, when you actually look at it in the packages, this one right here, not as glamorous as it once seemed, considering you could spend 1,000 crystals and get 5 million mesos, or you could spend $90 and get 20 million. So don't want to get too off topic though, that could be a whole different video on its own. But then of course, the real reason why people end up pulling on gachas, and the real, I guess, the catch to these and the glamour associated with them, is going to be that incredibly rare chance of getting a legendary, the chance of maybe getting 2 uniques, and also the chance of getting emblem gear, which is going to be pretty close to priceless right now. If you get a good piece of emblem gear, which is a really rare chance when you get a unique or a legendary, it can end up being an emblem piece of gear, which is essentially the highest form of endgame gear available right now. Consider yourself the winner of the lottery, because those are essentially going to be priceless. I actually don't think I've seen any legendary items posted on the trade station yet, but they're probably worth more money than I could even put a price on right now. Who knows what they're worth? A lot. But again, the chance of getting those is very, very low. I think I said earlier in the video it would take an average of about 50,000 crystals to get one. But even if you don't get that lucky when it comes to pulling, you're still getting about 5 million mesos or so from pulls. So you have to think to yourself, with the price of crystals and whether you want to spend money, invest into this game, whether you think it's worth it. But because I've been mentioning all these prices and mesos, keep in mind that you could still be completely free to play and end up getting pretty much everything. All you have to do is just keep farming, put more time into the game, and pretty much everything that people who are spending money pulling from the treasure box are getting, you can end up buying from the trade station. So it really is just a trade-off. You can invest crystals and money into the game, or you can invest time and get the same stuff. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of a better idea on kind of where to price things, and you know, kind of, I guess this was a little bit more of a mathematical video, but it hopefully gave you a little bit of a better idea as to kind of the value of what you actually end up getting in these treasure boxes. So with that being said, is anybody here gonna pull? I might actually end up doing a couple of polls, and maybe I'll end up recording them and posting them on the channel. If you're interested in seeing that, feel free to let me know, or just toss a like on the video. I don't know, I don't want to get too carried away, but I might end up doing a couple polls and see if I end up getting lucky. Maybe I'll get a piece of emblem gear, or maybe I'll end up getting a legendary, who knows. But with that being said, I think that's all I'm going to talk about in this video. So thank you very much everybody for watching, and if you enjoyed this, of course, feel free to let me know, positive comments, leaving a like, all that stuff, and we did pass over 100 subscribers as well. So a huge thank you to the over 100 of you who have subscribed to the channel. I hope these videos and these guides have helped out, and if you guys are interested in more, definitely keep an eye out on the channel. And with that being said, this is Salt of the Salty Clan, signing out.